Hello everybody. If you want to read all the stories in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you. Short story 377, The Unexpected Reunion. Intermediate. Liam had always been a creature of habit. Every morning he'd wake up at 6:30, make himself a strong cup of tea, and read the news online. Then he'd walk to the same café, order the same breakfast, a bacon sandwich and a black coffee, and read the newspaper until it was time to go to work. His life in London was comfortable, predictable, and, he had to admit, a little dull. On Tuesday morning, however, his routine was disrupted. As he entered his usual café, he noticed a woman sitting at his favourite table by the window. She had long, dark hair and was wearing a bright red coat. He hesitated, unsure whether to interrupt her. Usually he'd just find another table, but today something made him approach her. "Excuse me," he said politely. "I usually sit here. Would you mind if I joined you?" The woman looked up and smiled. "Of course," she said, her voice warm and friendly. "Please, sit down." Liam sat opposite her, feeling a little flustered. He rarely spoke to strangers, especially not before his first coffee. "I'm Liam," he said, extending his hand. "Eleanor," she replied, shaking his hand. Her grip was firm and her smile genuine. They ordered their breakfasts and started chatting. Liam was surprised at how easily the conversation flowed. Eleanor was from Spain and had moved to London a few months ago for a new job. She was a software engineer, just like him. They talked about their work, their favourite places in London, and their families. Liam found himself laughing at her jokes and enjoying her company immensely. He even forgot to read his newspaper. As they finished their breakfasts, Liam felt a pang of disappointment. He didn't want the conversation to end. "I've really enjoyed talking to you, Eleanor," he said. "Perhaps we could do this again sometime." "I'd like that very much," she replied. "Maybe we could have lunch next week." They exchanged phone numbers and promised to stay in touch. Liam left the cafe feeling lighter than he had in months. He even whistled a little tune as he walked to work. Over the next few weeks, Liam and Eleanor met for lunch several times. They discovered they had a lot in common, including a shared love of art house films and live music. Liam found himself looking forward to their meetings, and he started to feel a connection with Eleanor that he hadn't felt with anyone in a long time. One Saturday, Liam decided to be bold and invited Eleanor to a concert. She accepted, and they had a wonderful evening. After the concert, they walked along the Thames, talking and laughing. As they reached Eleanor's flat, Liam hesitated for a moment, then leaned in and kissed her. Eleanor kissed him back, and Liam felt a rush of happiness. Their relationship developed quickly from there. They spent more and more time together, exploring London, cooking each other meals, and simply enjoying each other's company. Liam's life had changed dramatically. His routine was no longer dull and predictable. It was full of excitement, laughter, and love. One evening, as they were having dinner at Liam's flat, Eleanor mentioned her family. She talked about her parents, her siblings, and her childhood in a small town in Spain. Then she mentioned her cousin, Miguel. Liam froze. He knew a Miguel from Spain. He had met him years ago on a backpacking trip around Europe. They travelled together for a few weeks and had become good friends. They had lost touch after a trip, but Liam had never forgotten him. "What's your cousin like?" Liam asked, his voice trembling slightly. Eleanor smiled. "He's a great guy," she said. "Very funny and kind. He lives in Madrid now, but we still see each other regularly." She pulled out her phone and showed Liam a photo. Liam stared at the photo. It was Miguel. He couldn't believe it. I know Miguel," he stammered. "We travelled together years ago." Eleanor's eyes widened in surprise. "You do?" she asked. "That's incredible." They spent the rest of the evening talking about Miguel and their shared experiences. It turned out that Eleanor and Miguel were very close, and they often talked about Liam after their backpacking trip. The next day, Liam called Miguel. They had a long and emotional conversation, catching up on each other's lives and reminiscing about their travels. Miguel was thrilled to hear that Liam was dating his cousin. Liam's life had taken an unexpected turn, not just by meeting Eleanor, but by discovering this surprising connection. It felt like fate had brought them together. What started with a simple interruption of a morning routine had blossomed into a beautiful relationship, strengthened by a shared history and a surprising family connection. Liam realized that sometimes the best things in life happen when you least expect them. Vocabulary notes. Creature of habit. This phrase describes someone who follows the same routines and habits every day. Example. Liam had always been a creature of habit. Every morning he'd wake up at 6:30, make himself a strong cup of tea, and read the news online. Similar words, phrases. Habitual, routine-oriented, predictable, set in one's ways. Example using similar words. My grandfather is very habitual. He eats the same breakfast every single day. Disrupted. This verb means to interrupt or disturb something, preventing it from continuing as usual. Example. One Tuesday morning, however, his routine was disrupted. Similar words, phrases. Interrupted, disturbed, broken, interfered with, upset. Example using similar words. The loud music disturbed the meeting and made it difficult to concentrate. Hesitated. This verb means to pause before doing something, often because of uncertainty or doubt. Example. He hesitated, unsure whether to interrupt her. Similar words, phrases. Paused, waited, faltered, wavered, delayed. Example using similar words. She hesitated before answering the question, as she wasn't sure of the correct answer. Flustered. This adjective describes someone who is nervous, confused, or agitated. Example. Liam sat opposite her, feeling a little flustered. Similar words, phrases. Nervous, agitated, uneasy, disconcerted, rattled. Example using similar words. He became flustered when he realized he had forgotten his wallet. Genuine. This adjective describes something that is real, sincere, and authentic. Example. Her grip was firm and her smile genuine. Similar words, phrases. Real, authentic, sincere, true, honest. Example using similar words. She gave him a genuine compliment on his new haircut. Flowed. In the context of conversation, this means to proceed smoothly and easily. Example. Liam was surprised at how easily the conversation flowed. Similar words, phrases. Proceeded smoothly, progressed easily, ran smoothly, moved effortlessly. Example using similar words. The discussion flowed well, with everyone contributing their ideas. Pang of disappointment. This phrase describes a sudden, sharp feeling of sadness or regret. Pang refers to a sudden, sharp pain or feeling. Example. As they finished their breakfasts, Liam felt a pang of disappointment. Similar words, phrases. Twinge of sadness. Sharp feeling of regret. Sudden feeling of loss. Example using similar words. She felt a pang of sadness when she remembered her childhood home. Bold. This adjective describes someone who is courageous and daring. In this context, it implies taking an action that requires some courage. Example. One Saturday, Liam decided to be bold and invited Eleanor to a concert. Similar words, phrases: courageous, daring, brave, adventurous, forward. Example using similar words: it was a bold move to start his own business during a recession. Reminiscing. This verb means to recall past experiences or events, often with fondness. Example: they had a long and emotional conversation, catching up on each other's lives and reminiscing about their travels. Similar words, phrases: recalling, remembering, looking back, thinking back to, recalling past events. Example using similar words: the old friends spent the evening reminiscing about their school days. Blossomed. This verb, when used metaphorically, means to develop or grow in a positive and flourishing way. Example: what started with a simple interruption of a morning routine had blossomed into a beautiful relationship. Similar words, phrases: developed, flourished, thrived, grew, progressed. Example using similar words: their friendship blossomed over time, becoming stronger and more meaningful. Story written by Google Gemini 2.0 AI. To read all the stories in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you.